At an enterprise level, they have their own executive coach. There's a reason why they have it. They kind of like put the pieces in the right puzzle and make sure that it aligns together. I have some executive friends that works at tech companies. They also have their own executive coach. And I don't even know what that meant. You coming after me, you were generous enough to give me like a few sessions that say if it makes sense for me. You checking in every so often kind of was like, oh shit, I gotta do that. And that's what has been the biggest valuable kind of thing to me. I'm Chua. I run an advertising firm here in San Francisco. So a little bit about our firm is we do branding and design. We do performance marketing, media buying, a little bit of content creation, trying to shift into the tech market from the government defense field. We're just trying to diversify our revenue streams. We work with companies in any scale. We would love to be in the enterprise level, but any scale of businesses from Series A up, that's kind of like our main bread and butter there. It's one of those things that you don't see some blind spots in just in your life. I have some executive friends that works at tech companies. They also have their own executive coach. And I don't even know what that meant. And I started getting into it. And then by just you coming after me and then talk about the blind spots, I don't even know what those blind spots are till we actually start digging. And it's, you were generous enough to give me like a few sessions that say if it makes sense for me. And then after like unpeeling the layers of onions, you get into the core of what actually is the problem. And then I was like, oh, this is such a no-brainer at that time, looking back at it, I was like, oh, and now we're at the core of the onion now. Now we're trying to build that back up, the layers of the onion. So one of the issues that I was having a problem with before is that I didn't know I had is creating leads who converts and building relationship and relationship management. That is on the business side of things. Relationship management is like one of the core parts. And then talking about performance coach and kind of align them, like breaking it down into different categories of romance, your fitness, your sleep, your focus points. Focus points is one of the things that in these past sessions that really kind of took some clarity. That's one of the things that you freaking honed down into my head. It's like clarity, bro. Like get down to the bottom of the stuff. And then now about creating systems too that allowed me during that time of the coaching, allows me to build systems in my life that will run my life smoothly. When my life runs smoothly, then that goes into transfers into business, and then the business, life and business goes hand in hand. That's my life now, and the before and after to it. So, well, actually, one thing I want to interrupt real quick. One of the things that really stood out to me is finding the problem and attacking the problem. I know that sounds very vague, but I noticed that I have looked at some other coaches, and I asked some other friends in my circles, like, oh, at some coaches, the coach and the mentee defines the problem, and then the coach kind of tells the mentee that you figure it out. But with you, I see like a different perspective. It's like, let's attack the problem together, and then I'll check in with you in the next few days. And that's what has been the biggest valuable kind of thing to me. And then also like running a business, also you're wearing a lot multiple hats, and you checking in every so often kind of was like, oh shit, I gotta do that. So that has been my experience working with you, and then attacking the problem, finding the problem, and then that's how I kind of run myself in the business personally. And then when you find the problem, attacking the problem, I'm not sleeping until that problem is fixed. Before that we start doing, it's just so funny. I had like 3 leads a month. Now I'm like averaging 15 leads just doing networking and events, creating relationships, conversation talks, and it's a big difference. So yeah, I guess one of the performance coaching that we just did is the clarity and focus. That's like I still have that in my notebook, the first thing I'll read, because that then translates into time savings actually. Because if you're focused on one thing, then you kind of put your heart and soul into that one thing, and then you kind of not distract yourself with this social media crap. One of the biggest, I guess I'd say, bottlenecks is just categorizing my time. That then saves time to, what should be the Saturday. Is it golfing? Is it time to reflect? Is it time to not do any business because you need that relaxation mind to get back to the business? So categorizing my hours into business and categorizing project management, categorizing what is gym time, what is romance time. And this is very important because a lot of people don't realize they just take in, I don't know if anyone out there is in a relationship, because it's hard because you will also want to cater to your partner, because that partner will then then affect your business because your life kind of integrate together. So at the end of the day, time is one thing, but there's a bigger picture that I can't tell if it's measured by KPI, but it's the focus and clarity. But that's very hard to put a KPI on it. Then translates
100%.
into time, but it's hard to put a number on it. It's definitely worth the investment, I'd say. One of the things too is pushing to be out there in events, in quality conversations, because I average about one event a month before we met. So I go to an event, having conversations, in quality conversation, because not all conversations are quality relationships. In the big city, living in San Francisco, people are in it for themselves and not trying to collaborate with you on some other things. So how do I filter through that? And that's one of the thing that you kind of told me in the coaching sessions. Not because a startup is funded, that doesn't mean they're a right relationship for you. Before this call, I average about 3 leads, I would say a month. That's not even good quality leads. And then talking to you, there's like multiple events in a week in San Francisco. No, I average about 5 to 7 leads a week. So that's about 30 leads, 28 to 30 leads a month. And then that is all good quality leads, because I filter out to you, it's like, is this a good event to go to? And it's kind of hard because you have to do a little bit in-depth research before coming to an event. So that's the before and after there, man. Oh, one of the key things is like you said, it's like if you're selling over 6 figures, you should wine and dine your clients. Although it sounds very synthetic and kind of fakey in a way, but that's just the relationship game works and the sales game works. You're the first one who said that to me, and I was like, oh, interesting. I can't remember. I have to look back on the book that you recommended to me. That's what the book is saying. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm gonna do that on the next 6-figure deal flow I'm gonna make. So yeah, that's the highlight of that. I think I recommend it to the people that are not on the enterprise level, that they think they don't need a coach. For annual revenue, it doesn't really matter, because if you're making 500K to 1 million and up, if you're not at enterprise level, you could definitely use this high performance coaching. Yeah, that's all I can think of, because a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs think that they got it on their own, but I would beg to differ and probably not.